What's up, guys? I'm Matt Harris again here with Relentless Forward Momentum, and just wanted to thank everybody who tuned in to the last video. It was a really big success, and we appreciate everybody's feedback. So we're going to continue to pump these videos out. So your feedback is going to help us design and tailor those to become more and more interesting and relevant to you specifically. So we really appreciate that. Today we're going to talk about how to grind it until you find it. And that is something that every successful person I've been so fortunate to have met, they grind, they work hard, they have something that they do repeatedly that builds momentum and results in their life. So like I talked about in the last video, I've been very fortunate. I've met several best-selling authors, I've met NFL coaches, Hall of Fame players in the NFL, Navy SEALs, and then dozens and dozens of the best salespeople in the world. And I always looked to see what was different between them and me, them and the average person, and really all I found was just a couple of key principles that I've been working to outline and simplify and create action steps around. So what we talked about the last time was vision. Every successful person I've met had a crystal clear vision of exactly who they wanted to be. Then they had some sort of a process that helped them overcome procrastination and then setbacks and failures that occurred along the way. So that was really just the key differences. So if you develop a process, you can literally do whatever you want. If you just follow that process, it helps you put the blinders on and not worry about results immediately, as results always follow positive action. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So I have a really good friend out in St. Louis. His name is Ben Newman. He is one of the most incredible people I've ever met, and he's probably my biggest inspiration of all time. He's really the reason that I've created this whole system. But I went to a boot camp of his a long time ago, and he talked about his start in the financial business. So him and I worked at the same company. We were based out of different locations, but when he first started, he didn't have immediate success. But what he did have was he had an incredible mentor who told him that he needed to focus on doing one thing for his business every single day, no matter what happened. No matter what happened in all other areas of his life or other areas of his business, he just focused on that one thing. And that one thing was picking up the phone 20 times a day. So anyone who's been in sales before knows that if you just constantly pick up the phone, you will sell. You will make sales. So that was all Ben Newman focused on, was picking up the phone 20 times a day. He just put the blinders on and did it. He didn't care what happened. Well, he did this over and over and over again. And it was about 5 or 6 years after that, he ended up becoming one of the top 20 representatives in the entire company. Just because he relentlessly focused on this one discipline every day. He's actually, in the past couple of years, he's moved on from the financial business. And he focuses now on performance coaching and sales training. And guess what? He still follows the same exact process. He reaches out to 20 new people every day. So what he did, this opened up a ton of doors for him. He's now a coach for several players in the Washington Redskins organization. He's the head of the sales and marketing department for the St. Louis Cardinals. He works with PGA Tour players. He works with some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in the world. And it's all a function of one single habit that any one of us could do. He just has the discipline to focus on it and do it every day. And that's the difference. That's how he's made it to where he's at right now. And everyone should check him out. His handle is Continued Fight. That's the organization that he runs, and he's an absolute motivational specialist, and he's just awesome at what he does. Another key example, Stephen King. He's an author. He's written tons of best-selling books. And what does he do every day when he's writing a novel? He focuses on one habit, and that habit is writing 1,000 words per day. He does it 7 days a week for as long as he's writing a rough draft for a book. So he does this every day. He puts his ass in the chair, as he calls it, at the same time every day. So he shows up to work, even though it's in his own home. He works at a certain time every day, and he will not leave the chair until he's written 1,000 words. So he has that as a minimum. A lot of times he writes more than that, but his discipline at writing 1,000 words enables him to write 4, sometimes 5 best-selling novels a year. So he can write a book in 90 days. It's amazing. With just one simple habit. He grinds it till he finds it. So Ben Newman, Stephen King, these are people that have done incredible things. But if you rewind and pull it back to just what do they focus on each day, it's something that you and I could do every day. We could focus on something that small and over a long enough time period bring the same amount of success into our life. And that's exactly what you should do. So like we talked about in the last video, when you're setting this daily habit, and maybe it's more than one daily habit. I have daily habits that revolve around my fitness routine. I write every day like Stephen King. And I also reach out to a certain number of people each day, so networking is another piece of that. But what you want to do is you want to focus on two words. You want to focus on manageable and controllable. Manageable means that you're not going to overwhelm yourself. It means that it's small enough that you can repeat it over and over and over and over again to create momentum. Controllable means that it's entirely in your control. You're not relying on some outside circumstance. You know, you're not meeting your friend at the gym, and if they don't show up, you don't work out. It's something that you have control of. You have control of picking up the phone and reaching out to 10 people. That's in your control. If you're not in sales, maybe it's fitness. You have control of stepping into the gym once, twice a week at the very minimum. So think about those two words when you're coming up with a daily habit. And I hear a lot of people talking about not really knowing where to start. And Stephen King didn't learn this formula from somebody else. He just did it. He started somewhere. He started writing every day. He developed this process on his own. Same with Ben Newman. He had a mentor who knew that a certain number of calls every day would bring sales, would bring new business, would bring new opportunities. So, you know, anytime you're thinking, I don't really know where to start or what should I do each day? Well, that's just your inner procrastinator preventing you from taking action. So you just have to start somewhere, and it can be so small. A friend of mine and I, the other day actually, made a commitment to each other to reach out to 5 new people through Twitter, because neither of us were using Twitter very often, but we made a commitment every day we'd reach out to 5 new people through Twitter, and we'd text each other when we were done. Literally takes us 2 minutes a day. It's so easy, but it builds such momentum in your life. So in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about the relentless forward momentum formula. So you've already learned the first principle, which is to develop a crystal clear vision of everything you want. The second one is develop that daily habit, something manageable, something controllable that you can repeat over and over and over again to create momentum in your life. So next time, we're going to talk about a few of the other principles. Third one is capitalizing on your strengths. So finding ways to do things that you're already good at. The fourth one, become fearless. Start attacking your goals. Start being aggressive at going after the things that you want. The fourth one is attracting abundance. So this means utilizing the law of attraction, believing in opportunities around you, believing in success, which is going to bring all the opportunities right back to you. The last one is building a powerful team. Who you surround yourself with makes a world of difference. You want to have people around you that support your goals and support your dreams. So I'm going to give you another action step, because if you haven't noticed already, action is a huge piece of the relentless forward momentum formula. So that action step is really just to send me an email. So you can send that email to relentlessforwardmomentum@gmail.com. And I want you to just tell me a story of a time that you overcame the odds, or a time that you failed or got knocked down, but you decided to get back up. I want you to brag a little. I think not enough people focus on the successes that they've had in the past. They dwell on the failures that they've had in the past. There's so much to gain from reminding yourself constantly of all the successes that you've had. It brings you confidence. And that's just so important in the world of success. Confidence is king. I used to have my baseball coach in college. He used to always say, have a short memory. And what this meant was, if you struck out, don't carry that strikeout to your next at bat. Forget about it. So forget your failures fast. And I truly believe that. Every good baseball player that I knew did not worry. They struck out one at bat. They took the next at bat and they were focused. They didn't even care that they had struck out the last at bat. So you can use that in your life. Remind yourself of your successes. Forget about your failures because they don't matter. You can't change them anyway. And like I said, just keep focusing on all those successes that you've had, and you'll have more successes to celebrate. We'll talk to you again next time. Thanks again.